have 246 on the GOM, but the 86 degrees there might require some of this, in which case it's telling us 215. Either way, we're only going about 250 today because we're starting up late here after a day of work, so we'll see how it goes. So good morning from what will be the first of many road reports, I hope. A little rough and ready, just quickly edited together. This one from Herkimer, New York. We're right on the edge of the Erie Canal here, as you can see, with I-90 rushing by in the background there, so we're in a good spot. We had actually hoped to charge overnight on the park and ride stations, which we'll have a quick look at over there most likely in a sec. We thought that they were available overnight, but they seem to be more of a daytime activity, so that was fine, because if any of you watch the videos, previous road trips, you'll know that Herkimer is an Electrify America location, so that's right by the hotel here. Easy enough to just jump on that this morning. We'll jump on over to the Electrify America and make sure everything's going well there. Let's go. So, our pick of the chargers, but as I say, this is our journey so far. We have, I added about 4 or 5% last night. We arrived in with 10% after a very brief stop for dinner and a quick charge in Lee, Massachusetts, on the EV Go station there, which is its own story, but the usage so far, not too bad actually. We did run air conditioning for the first 150 miles or so, and it was 80s, mid 80 degrees, so you've got a good little chunk of AC use there, but still pretty good, keeping 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour despite the hills and the Berkshires. But we've done this run a lot. It varies everything between, you know, pushing beneath 3 miles per kilowatt hour in winter and up above 3.8, 3.9 if you don't have to run any AC or anything in the warmer months. But for now, we need to plug into each of these. I want to make sure we're trying as many stations as possible. There's always criticism of Electrify America. It's not reliable, that stations are hard to start. So we'll see how many of these we can get active. As I say, saw someone charging on number 3 earlier today, so we know that works. We'll still give it a try. I charged on number 4 last night. So this is number 1, fittingly enough. It's Herkimer. It's in eastern upstate New York, east of Syracuse but west of Albany. Swipe to charge. We're in a per kilowatt hour state here now in New York, as opposed to the per minute charging of Massachusetts. So this will be 31 cents per kilowatt hour. On the Electrify America Pass Plus plan, it's 12 cents a minute in Massachusetts and other per minute states. As you can see, got me all recognized, should be around 14% here. Okay, so bang up to 51, 52 kilowatts start rate, pretty standard. We'll give a few minutes on each of these just to make sure it doesn't conk out, but usually the hurdles are at the start here, so That's where you're looking to make sure you have your connection set up. Again, if anyone's just starting out on Bolt EV road trips, is new to the networks and that, these Electrify America stations with the higher power cables are a little bit heavier, so sometimes it's good to hold those up. When you first put the connector in, hold the connector in, give it some relief so that the weight isn't pulling down too heavy. That's specifically a Bolt EV thing, but it's always something to try in pretty much any road trip if you're having connection issues, but less and less frequent an issue nowadays, but something to bear in mind. This one seems to be humming along quite nicely, already up to 19%. So we'll give that a second here, and then let's try this one. Be able to reach because of this crappy parking job that I did in terms of spaces. You can also get the secondary connector over, and that's obviously station 2. So let's give that a go. Last used 12 hours ago. See how this one goes. Again, this is what I'm talking about, just holding it up a little bit so that we can hear it buzz and make that connection with the actuator on the top. And we'll hear that fire up now. Should be exactly the same. Welcome, Steve, etc. Yep, there we go. Okay. So again, started up first time, giving me the maximum power a Bolt can take. And this is another one, it's 350 kilowatts here. Bolt can take maximum of 55, so we're really underutilizing this station. It's becoming more of a concern now. I didn't really think about it for the last year or two, but the end station here is the 150 kilowatt station. Although this is as well, but again, we talked about that, not taking the CHAdeMO plug if we can help it, or CHAdeMO station. The one on the end here is the 150 kilowatt. That's the one that we should really be on. Just in case something like, you know, 2 Taycans show up and want to use these. It's very unlikely, but as we start to see more and more cars with the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 that can use these higher powers, they're up to 220 kilowatts. So there's going to be more and more EVs that are able to use these 350 kilowatt stations, and would be better not to tie them up with a Bolt EV or one of the slower charging electric vehicles. This is going to get a bit of a dance because everyone's going to have to figure this out, but yeah, I wouldn't stay on these. I would pick the CCS only 150 kilowatt station as my first choice, and then move down them with the CHAdeMO being last still, because that's the only one that they could use. If you've watched our videos before, you know that we were here on the way down to Fully Charged Live in Texas last year, very early in the winter, and that was just a mess. All of this was just not working at all. These were older stations. These have been ripped out of the ground, the ones that were there at that time, and replaced since then, so these are brand new equipment comparatively. But it's good to see this station up and running and reliable, because it's pretty key. There are some more new ones gone in near west of Albany, and there's a lot more going in around Syracuse now, but this is a key location either way, midway between Albany and Syracuse, and kind of serving that very limited DC fast charging on this route across upstate New York. So success on 1 and 2. Let's try number 3. Okay, you might have your first honk out there. All right, I'll give you that one. Okay, so got us fired up here. Did have to switch from this connector, which didn't make a network connection, so it did connect to the car but didn't connect to the mothership up there, but got started on the right hand side connector. As I say, I saw a Hyundai Kona electric on this one just before when we were over in the other lot, so this is not a problem. So 3 out of 3 as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you can say shifting connectors is a pain, but really you're only talking about 30 seconds to a minute of hassle, if anything, so you didn't have to even move parking spaces. We'll give this a couple of minutes here at 53 kilowatts, see if it bumps up a little more, and then we'll shift over to the 4th and final station, which we do know works from last night. Okay, there we go. And power is standard again for the Bolt, so nothing of particular note there to mess around with that. As with this one, just switched the connector and the other two worked first time. So really, I mean, unless you're being super pernickety and really wanted to ding the site heavily for having to reconnect, we haven't had to move spaces other than to access each machine. We have got started on each one, and it's giving full rate. And we'll let this one sit here and charge up to whatever we need to charge up to get on to further into Western New York. Alright, all charged up and ready to go. Alright, so forgive the landscaping noise, but the 96%, somewhere in that region, gives us just over 200 miles on the GOM. That's at the highway speeds, 70 plus, and coming all the way over here, including some mountain time and air conditioning. So I think it's going to be similar temperatures today. We'll probably expect roughly the same in terms of air conditioning, but so it's all good. It's right on the interstate as we said, and we'll be back underway once we've had breakfast and rustled everybody up to pack up on the road again. So not every stop is for charging. Only 10 miles from the destination. Still gonna make it, but a bathroom break is required. That's what happens when you have several bladders on board.